Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And I want to talk about the Indagos, but I also want to break down George Washington and his NATO real quick also, because I want to let everybody know, look, this is what y'all getting ready to do again. Y'all don't know that y'all just keep repeating the past. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to let y'all know, like, this is what's getting ready to happen with George Washington. And a lot of things that y'all cling on to from 7 to 10,000 years ago that y'all cling on to today, that's going to be the same thing that y'all going to be doing with George Washington. Now, for the most part, like I want to tell y'all, like, a lot of motherfucking ancient shit that y'all cling on to will be motherfuckers that y'all wouldn't like in today's time, in real time. Like, so I don't give a fuck what kind of color shade or how much you resonate with these motherfucker ancient Sumerians or Egyptian gods or this, that, and the third. I can almost guarantee you that motherfucker, these will be some motherfuckers that you wouldn't even like in today's time. So you need to understand energy signatures. And if you understand that, then if you're not a spirit within a body living out the existence or the experience the same way that these motherfuckers, ancient niggas that you cling on to, if you're not living the same experience that they're living, then 9 times out of 10, that's not your spirit. So you need to keep that in mind right now. And a lot of motherfuckers that you hate today in 2018 in real time is actually those motherfuckers still reclaiming a same position and spot and coming in shapes and forms and in vessels, aka humans, that can actually carry out the duty and obligation to will in they motherfucking experience of ruler and authority. So motherfucker, don't get it twisted. Whatever you think you worshiping and clinging back to, 9 times out of 10, you just giving power and energy and more source to the motherfucker who's in power today. So you need to know that. So reason why I want to say George Washington is this, because look, now, on the astrological tip, George Washington is a formal halt. His sun sign is a formal halt. He is a 3 degrees Pisces. Now, he is the first president as far as on an American land and location and how this was represented and shit like that. So, for the most part, this is what you need to understand, right? We was in the age of Pisces, and that's a whole nother aspect to talk about. But for the most part, him being the first president and this, that, and the third, now, he's on the dollar bill. Now, think about how much energy that y'all give to the money. Now, money is backed and supported by the currency energy signature, and that's not excluded by realms of realities and dimensions. You know what I'm saying? The currency energy goes beyond it. That energy plays out in many different realms and realities and take many different shapes and forms and many different dimensions. But for the most part, in this realm of reality, it plays out in the bargain and gain system. And then, you know, we create things from the realm that we are in to show the representation of that energy signature. So right now we got money and we got a lot of other things trying to, like DI notes and cryptocurrency. A lot of different names. Y'all want to give a different to this term, to this currency energy signature. But whoever come up with the best idea and come up with the best shape and form to be used as a light for that energy signature, they will be the ruler and authority and the intellectual properties and rulerships over that energy signature at the time, the shape and form that's being portrayed. So whoever came up with money came up with the best idea of a representation to play out for the energy signature of currency. You see what I'm saying? So those motherfuckers will always be in charge. So think about it like this, right? Think about how much energy you putting into money, right? Now, George Washington is on a dollar bill. So check this out, right? Now, that's only like hundreds or something, whatever, how many years that motherfucker George Washington became the president, right? So the same way y'all utilize y'all Bibles or y'all ancient texts today, what the fuck y'all think y'all gonna do 2,000 years from now, right? You're gonna get some motherfucker who dig up or see some motherfucking paper on it that got George Washington on it. Motherfucker gonna come up with some type of science or information like, look, this is what these motherfuckers was into at this time, and they was creating faces. Now at this time they may look slightly different, they may have different mannerisms, slightly different body pieces, but it's gonna be like still kind of being like this. Now they're gonna be looking at these ancient artifacts to them as money, and they're gonna be like, who the fuck face is this? Then they're gonna do their research and things of that nature. Then they're gonna look at it like, okay, this person was the first rulership or authority in this space and location, but then they're going to correlate that with their spiritual natures, and then before you know it, George Washington is going to be God 2,000 years from now, and it's going to be God in this space and location. Then this space and location going to go to war with another country who their first money was printed on, and then y'all just worship, and then y'all going to get into debates who's the most high name, because y'all might not even call it George Washington 2,000 years from now. Y'all might start calling them whatever the whatever the language y'all come up with, y'all might start calling him Ling Ling Lockelin or Mocklin Pocketin. And then once somebody come up with like, nah, y'all ain't talking about the Most High name. Y'all ain't talking about my ruler and authority. The real name, Most High name is George Washington. And you know what I'm saying? These people gonna be so lost and confused, right? And you probably looking at me right now like, man, that shit do sound silly as fuck though. But like, goddamn, what the fuck you think you doing? So you got to understand these things from a psychological level before you get lost into the actual physical representation of a lot of these things. You see what I'm saying? So now let's get into the motherfucking indigos. Now the indigos, they work through colors and things of that nature. Now the indigos could be any representation. They could be a Dracolian, a reptilian, a gray, a serpent, a motherfucking Palladian, a Lumerian, a motherfucking all these motherfucking beings you can name, motherfucking esoteric sharks, mermaids, all kind of shit. These motherfuckers could come in many different shapes and forms, and many different beings. Now, so when you look at the indigos, it's kind of like an indigo is a being that worked for the Galactic Federation of Light. But the reason why we call them indigos in our realm of reality, the reason why we gave them a name, because it's a certain group of beings that work for the Galactic Federation of Light that actually love humanity. So a lot of times what they're doing, they actually think they're doing the right thing. And a lot of times in your realm of reality, it kind of is a right thing if you're a person who like to indulge a lot. But we're going to get into that. But for the most part, they're not supposed to be indulgent or influencing or intervening in that kind of aspect. Because they're trying to get bodies, you know what I'm saying? And they ain't supposed to be intervening in this realm. So, well, they are, but not in that aspect, because a lot of them have bodies here. But a lot of times you could get locked up. Now, look, let's break down the Galactic Federation of Light. That is the government and the system and the police system and the law system that you see in 3D. Down here, your government and shit, that's the Galactic Federation of Light. So if you want to call them the Elohim, if you want to call them the fallen angels, fallen stars, or the demons and things of that nature, Shemyaza and all them, whatever, how far you want to go back, it's the same motherfuckers. You just got a different civilization giving them a different name. But for the most part, it's all these motherfuckers who came down here. Now, they made a pact. I told y'all what that pact was. That was theism, the pact, and all things that come with theism. That's going into to believe in yourself. So that's to go into daughters of the man, to go into a shape and form that you have created, to play God in that realm of reality or dream or imagination you have created for yourself. Now, since I'm in a space and you in a space with me, we can't be ruling the same space. So you need your space. So that's our pact. So this is why you have your different location. I have my different location. Now, by you being a lower being, it would be perceived to you as different religions. So this is why you have different religions and things of that nature. Different spaces, locations, aka different spirits, ruling the smaller life through multiple versions of the smaller life. You know what I'm saying? So one idea, theology, or concept can be played out through millions of people in the third dimension. And this is where we get into concepts of spiritual warfare in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, as me being a 4th and 5th and 6th dimensional being. But for the most part, now, when you talk about the Galactic Federation of Light, look at it like this, right? Now, before you even go to jail in the 3rd dimension, you can go to jail in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. Why is that? Because you're putting one of your 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional light bodies into a mental prison. So that means you're up under a system. You're up under a governmental law. So you stay in a specific space and location in the astral realm. So it's rules and laws there, it's systems there, it's ways, lights is aligning. So the Galactic Federation of Light, right? So say you do certain things in that space. Down here in the 3rd dimension, that they're going to make you feel guilty. So if you feel guilty down here, that means you already is going to court. So you need an esoteric lawyer like Archangel Uriel. But for the most part, so you can know what you're being judged on or not. So you don't agree to no terms and conditions and be locked up in your mind in spaces you don't need to be in. But for the most part, when you talk about, now, when you start to feel guilty, you're already in jail. So you already have broke the law of something that you up under. Now, you don't have to be up under nothing. You could be a freelancer. You could travel freely through the astral realm, but that's on you, depending on what you worship or believe in. But that's going to determine what space and location that you are in. So once you start to feel guilty and shit like that, right, it start to bother you. It start to harbor on your emotions and feelings because you felt like you did something wrong. Now, the more you let that build up, it start to take characteristics in the 3D. So it start to manifest as in people, places, and things coming into your life representing that same energy. Now the energy is getting manifested more heavy, more water, more dense, more information. Now it could become solid, aka become a reality, become an experience. So you start to experience all that turmoil that you was going through by you being locked up in the esoteric realm. So you already went to court, you already was judged, and every day in the 3D realm that you felt guilty about that, that's how long you already been in jail in the astral realm. Now it's going to actually play out as you actually go into jail, or you getting your heart broke down here, or you losing money, or you anything is a turbulent situation. That's letting you know you was already in jail and you already got locked up by the Galactic Federation of Light in the astral realm. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about the Indigos, they love humanity. So a lot of times to come into this realm of reality and don't just fuck with people as far as fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional wise. They come to you as far as colors, the color spectrum, because the color spectrum is this solar system that we up under right now, right? So for the most part, when we talk about color spectrums, it's important to understand the spiritual signatures behind it. So for the most part, this is what I mean. Anytime you see yellow, it's a high emphasis of optimism or happiness going on in that area. You see what I'm saying? Or ascension into feeling and thought. Anytime you see the color blue, it is a heavy emphasis of communication. Now, I told you, communication, there's many thousands and billions of different communication styles within this realm of reality, not just verbally. You see what I'm saying? So look, when you look at the sky, there must be more communication going on within the sky than down here. That's why you see the big heavy emphasis of blue when the sun is rising. Quote unquote, what y'all think is rising, but the sun is not actually rising or setting. Now, for the most part, so anytime you see a heavy emphasis of communication going on in some way, shape, or form in any dimension, you're going to see the color spectrum blue get manifested. This is why a lot of social media sites utilize the color blue. And this is why water reflects the color blue faster than any other color. Now, also, when you talk about purple, there's a heavy emphasis of royalty, or heavy emphasis of pride, or heavy emphasis of indulging into a pleasure. So transformation goes on with when you see a lot of purple. There's a lot of transformation going on. Also with red, a lot of shifting, moving, and transforming going on when you see a lot of red emphasis. Also, this is why Mars represents red. And pink, a lot of pleasant but pleasurable transformation. That's when you see pink. And transformation, that's what y'all would think is life or death, but I'm talking about transformation as far as a scale. So when we talk about an indigo, they will affect you through one of these colors, right? So when you start to get too happy, right, they come and affect you and create a circumstantial situation to make you start to feel guilty by being that happy. And a lot of times when you overindulge into anything, you lead yourself into a circumstance or situation that you need to learn how to do things in moderation, because they're always going to lead to a bad end. So they be here for that, but a lot of times they overdo that because they like policemen. They work for the Galactic Federation of Light. So it's a group of galactic. They could be anybody, reptilians, greys, but it's a group of them that love humanity a little bit more than they supposed to. So they intervene. So they come through color spectrums and shit like that. So oh shit, I thought I hit you, my bad. But look, the moment. Say you dive into the Venus or the color spectrum of pink or something like that. That means when you start to dive too much into the stuff that you love, appreciate, value, whether that's a person, place, or thing, then they create a circumstance to make you feel like you're not supposed to love it that much. You know what I'm saying? And then like if you are a person who stuck in your lower natures and your animalistic natures, then this may be good for you. You may need to experience that turbulent situation, you know. And this is what they do it for. This is why because they like human interactions. They like the way humans, what's that word I'm looking for? They like human interactions. They like human problems. They like human issues. They like human situations. So they look at the human circumstance, and from a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional aspect, these are like cloud waves. So the direction and the space and location that y'all cloud waves are moving in, they like that area. You know what I'm saying? So they want to resonate in that area, and they want to become physical a lot of times in the 3D. And a lot of them are. You know what I'm saying? This is how you even got the government down here and police officers. But those certain police officers that pat you on the back sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They don't be too harsh on you. You know what I'm saying? That's how they play out in the third dimension. But in the fourth dimensional realm, that's how they attack you in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But then say you get pulled over in the third dimension. It'll be that police officer be like, man, I just give you a ticket this time. I know you ain't got no license, but I just give you a ticket this time. And just when you come to court, just make sure you have your license when you come there. You know, some people, they'll take your car and say you can't even drive it back to wherever you're going to. You see what I'm saying? But this officer will let you. You see what I'm saying? It'll play out like that, but In the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, you know what I'm saying, that they attack you through the color spectrums and shit like that, like Mars or the red shift. So if you put too much in your attention or aggression or your passion or what you're motivated to do or your alternative motives, they create a situation like, okay, you're doing too much or something like that. You're gonna be like, what? So they love humanity too much. Now here's how you can be born as an indigo in the third dimension, as just having a physical representation, and this is your light. This is like your sun and moon and shit down here, right? You would have to be a person who share all color spectrums. So that would be a person like this. Say like your sun is in, let's say your sun is in Leo. Your Mercury is in Virgo. Your Venus is in Libra. You see what I'm saying? Your Mars is in motherfucking Scorpio. Your Jupiter is in Sagittarius. You see what I'm saying? Your Saturn is in Capricorn. You a motherfucking indigo on Earth. You like, it's like a bowl. Your chart is like a wheel. You got the rainbow spectrum on you. So you already got that energy. So a lot of times you love humanity and shit like that. So you will play out a lot of natures that Pisces naturally play out, where you end up taking the shape and form of your environment too much and it overtake you. Therefore, it's like you're showing too much love to people people, places, and things who may not need that love. It may not even want that love. It may just utilize that love to drain you from it because you're giving it. So, you know what I'm saying? Indigos, they work deep. So even like Mercury, that's like a heavy emphasis of light silvery blue, like. So for the most part, if you're utilizing too much communication in some way, shape, and form, an indigo, see where your cloud is going from the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, and if they don't think you're going in the right path, they'll come shut something down that you're doing communication wise. So they'll come lock up your phone, or you know what I'm saying, make your computer freeze, or you know what I'm saying, or create like a thunderstorm, or you know what I'm saying, your cable go out that day. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait till the cable come back on and shit like that, because somebody ran into a pole or something. Like, it'd be like some dumb shit, but it's them. That's how you know it's them. But you need to sit back and observe yourself to see if you was indulging too much, or if whatever you was doing is justified. Now, if whatever you was doing is justified, and you watch Archangel Uriel, and you are already spiritually in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, then you know these motherfuckers is fucking with you. Because once you get aware, that's when these motherfuckers start just attacking you, because you're aware. So now they look at you like you a person who think you can do what you want to do, and not just on the third dimensional realm, from a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional realm. And in that aspect, that's a person who think the way they want to think. They feel the way they want to feel. They don't get outside influences like that. And once you start developing that body in the fourth and fifth, sixth dimension, that's when they start fucking with you. They like, they start, hold on, what make you think you can think what you want to think? What make you think you can feel what you want to feel? They try to lock you up, and then you will get locked up, and to the point that you will start thinking that you do need them to get out and stuff like that. And then that's when the real battles start. You know what I'm saying? But once you get spiritually strong, you'll know what I'm talking about in that realm. But you know what I'm saying? This is the surface level of what I'm talking about right now. But yeah, flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.